This is a happy birthday motif. I have something similar for Valentine's Day and for graduation. So this is just a lot of fun. It's like confetti on a card. So you can purchase this as a card format and you can use whatever kit you want because it's up to you whether you're going to do bright colors or muted colors. And today we're going to do bright. So I'm going to dip into here, and it's nice if you make a few of these up so that you just have them on hand, and so you can make them very gender and age neutral. And if you have a pastel kit or want to pick some of these colors in here, this is the classic set. You can always mute them with the white and make them more pastel looking. That's a lot of fun too. So we're just going to pick any place we want to create these pops of color, and I'm going to start to kind of move around this motif so that I'm letting a few areas dry before I put some paint next to it. And it's really just up to you however you want to do it. And I'm thinking a little bit about balance, so I'm going to come over here and put blue again in this direction. That way I've got a little to the left, a little to the right. And I'll just pop this in. You can use a pencil too to draw in here other additional designs if you want. I'm going to clear my brush. And now I'm going to turn my paper a little bit so I don't put my hand in that. And I'm going to go for a purple here. I think the one on the example was done in the classic set. So this would be Reef, but not in the classic, the tropical set. So the blues and purples will look a little bit different if you're looking at that example. If you're not sure, you can make something balanced and you just want to go off of what I've done because you like it, or just change up a few areas. That's perfectly fine. So now I'm going to move around my motif again. And just loading the front end of this brush with paint so that I've got plenty. Now this color here, I'm going to get a tester strip that you should have with your Taken paint just to kind of see what color I want. So I think I'm going to try to add a little bit of yellow here. Maybe what I need is a bit of brown just to tone that green down a little bit. Yeah, I like that one perfectly. Now that I've found my green, make a little bit more of that. Put a little bit of brown. Sometimes in this kit, the black mixes well with that green. So I've got a few areas here that I chose in my original design. I think these two colors look fun together next to each other. And kind of get that celadon sort of limey green going here. Okay. So I now have a red. You could use pink depending on who you're giving this card to. But I'm going to start here because I've got that wet paint on the other side. You may have to step away and let it dry for a minute. I'm going to move down here because that blue is nice and dry. And this purple is pretty dry, so I'll go right next to that and paint that in here. And because that's still wet, I'm skipping. first. That green's still pretty wet. And I've got my little brush here. Has that fine point to it, so that way you can get in these small spaces. I highly recommend. I'm using my water brushes that I sell. And I'm going to try to go so very carefully next to that's a pretty thick line, so I've got enough space there to not let those touch. All right, we did it. And in my design, I painted this area. Oh, I actually did this orange on my design, I'm just realizing. So I did that red, so I'll do orange across here, and I'll wait and add a little bit of orange into this design here just to balance that out. And even if you have a little bubble of water, it'll just evaporate and dry and leave the paint underneath, and it's perfectly fine. I only usually just siphon those with my towel so that that water doesn't get across my page somehow if I get my hand in it. And so because I did that orange over there, I want to bring some over to this side. So I'm going to put that orange inside of this red here. And then maybe I'll put a little bit of red in this design to kind of balance that out. And I'll take a little bit of liberties here and put some orange around there. I'll do that actually up here. And then take red and do these little dots just to incorporate those. And then now I have this light blue that was inside here on these little scallops. Just want to make sure that that's dry first. So now I want to do that light blue there inside my happy birthday, I think. So I'm just going to carefully, you can practice doing a line on your little practice sheet here. You've got to really keep your hand straight up and down at an even pace, and I usually use this like somewhat like a marker. I find it easier to pull toward myself. So I have to do a few strokes because the line is fatter than my brush, but I want to be very careful and draw as long as I can, keeping that color consistent. And where I double over the layers, it's going to sort of show. So I'm going to try to kind of work while it's wet and move it around so I don't get too much of a distinct line where I've stopped and started, like right there. And patiently going around, and make sure I don't have too much water in my brush. This area here is more narrow. It's got that sketchy vibe, so it's very imperfect. My brush was a little bit dry, so I had to do smaller strokes there. And I think up here it's a little light, so I'm going to put a little bit more and combine that to get a nice smooth stroke.